I still remember the first time he said my name like it belonged to him. Not in the conference room, not in an email, but late one night, behind his locked office door, with the city lights flickering behind him and my heart thudding in places I didn't know could feel. It wasn't supposed to happen, but it did. And once it started, we couldn't stop. I was 23, 2 months into the job, still learning where the good coffee was in the building and how to keep my nerves steady when I spoke in meetings. He was everything I wasn't: confident, calculated, respected, and off limits. Mr. Dean Waverly, VP of Strategy, my direct supervisor, my first boss, my first everything. He wore silence like armor and walked like he knew people were watching. I used to flinch when he looked at me too long in meetings, thinking I had done something wrong. But it wasn't that. Not always. Sometimes his eyes would linger too long. Sometimes I'd catch him watching me when he thought I wasn't paying attention. Sometimes I looked back. It started small. A late meeting. Just the two of us. A slide deck I was too nervous to present. "You're better than this," he said, voice low. "Don't shrink." And I didn't. Because he said it like he meant it. The tension started to build from there. There was no line we meant to cross. But there were too many moments where we stood too close. Where silence did too much talking. One evening, I stayed behind to finish a report. I heard his door click open. "You're still here. Deadline's tomorrow." He nodded. "You're not like the others." I didn't know what that meant until he stepped closer. I should have left. But I didn't. I looked up. And he looked down. And when he kissed me, I forgot everything that came before that moment. The next morning, nothing was said. Just the same cool glances in the hallway. The same clipped greetings. Except now, everything under the surface felt like fire. We kept going. After hours. In locked offices. In his car, parked under the city's blind spots. Every time, it felt like the last time. But it never was. I told myself I could handle it. That this was mine. That what happened behind closed doors wouldn't touch my work, wouldn't touch my life. But secrets rot in the dark. And love, if that's what it was, needs air. It started to show in small ways. I began avoiding team lunches. He stopped offering public praise, worried someone would see it differently. Our messages got shorter. Safer. But the way he touched me never changed. Slow. Like he knew this couldn't last. Like every time might break something open. Then came the email. "An anonymous concern has been raised regarding your relationship with a superior." I froze. HR called it a conflict of interest. Dean called it a mistake we should have known better than to make. But it was never just a mistake. Not for me. Not when I couldn't sleep without remembering how he whispered my name like a promise. He didn't fight it. Didn't defend us. He took a leave of absence and left me behind like a story that had ended too soon. I didn't cry right away. I kept showing up. Kept pretending. Kept holding my breath every time I walked past his door. A month later, he came back. Except now, he wouldn't look at me. Until the quarterly review. Until I presented my work, hands steady, voice strong. Until I turned to leave and heard him say, "Stay." I stood there, not breathing. He looked at me the way he used to. But something was different. "I never stopped thinking about you," he said, voice thick. "But this job, this place. I needed to make sure you were okay without me." I turned slowly. And what if I wasn't? His face faltered. Then he crossed the room and stood in front of me. Close enough that I could feel it, the pull that never really left us. "You were never just another intern," he said. "Never just an assistant. You were my first distraction. My first weakness. I touched his chest. Don't say first love unless you mean it. He looked down. I do. My voice trembled. So now what? He smiled, and it was softer than I remembered. We do it right this time. No secrets. No fear. And for once, I believed him.